We don't all age at the same rate. Some people look and function much older than they are, others much younger. One of the ways scientists can measure biological age is by measuring the amount of methylation on our DNA. The more the methylation, the older our biological age. And what's been discovered is the more stressed you are, the faster the DNA methylates, and therefore the faster we age. So stress makes us age faster. How does this happen? Stress releases a hormone called cortisol, which is what causes all the trouble. Cortisol isn't all bad. Some cortisol is needed to maintain our blood pressure, lower inflammation, and it's what wakes us up in the morning. Cortisol also has a dark side. Excessive cortisol causes the brain cells to die, shrinks the testicles in men and lowers fertility in women. It thins the skin. Cortisol is associated with heart attacks, strokes, cancer, weight gain, and poor immunity, to name a few. Cortisol can also make us get upset at things we really ought to just brush off. Unlike the 3-minute half-life of the neurotransmitter oxytocin, which makes us more forgiving, more relaxed, and more loving, cortisol has a 66-minute half-life. That means that once you get a cortisol spike, you could still have up to 25% of it in your system 4 hours later. And if your liver is sluggish at removing it, that could double to 8 or more hours. Since we all wake up with a cortisol spike each morning, that means that some of us have cortisol in our system virtually the whole day long from that initial surge. And that's assuming that no other stressful events happen for the rest of the day. So how do we lower excessive cortisol? There are enzymes in the liver that do this for us. So the first thing to make sure is that the liver is working well. And for that, consider our liver detox with glutamins, Xenoplex, and albendextrin. But remember, even with the liver working well, cortisol still has a 66-minute half-life, so a little help would be nice. Perhaps we can get the body to a state where it makes less cortisol in the first place. Then it wouldn't last so long, and it wouldn't be so intense. Some people will have a drink or smoke some marijuana to help with stress and lower cortisol. Alcohol and marijuana do lower cortisol in the short term, but increase it in the long term. I wanted something that would help with cortisol, aging, and the stress, but wouldn't cause long-term issues. Over thousands of years, we've learned that some plants help with stress. The very best of these we called adaptogens. Adaptogens do this by helping us regulate our cortisol release. They make us release less cortisol. After studying all the available adaptogens and eliminating all those with side effects, I ended up with 3: ergothioneine, a mushroom extract, saludricide from the root of the rhodiola plant, and astragalosides from the root of the astragalus plant. However, it's not just the mushroom and the roots of these plants that do all the work. It's very specific compounds in them. So in order to get the effect I was looking for, I had to get extracts of these very specific compounds, and I had to find a way to protect them from the digestive acids and enzymes and get them into the bloodstream. To do this, I've taken these very specific compounds and put them into liposomal capsules to protect them from digestion and to assure absorption into the bloodstream. The product is called Autonomis.
So, what kind of results might we expect to see with Autonomis? There are ways to know, objectively, exactly how much stress a person is under, as well as how much reserve they have. This is a readout showing the state of my autonomic nervous system after having taken Autonomis for a few days. In this graph, here, the Y up and down axis measures a person's stress reserves. The higher on the graph a person is, the more stress they can handle. So you want to be as high up on this graph as possible. The X right and left axis shows how much of the reserve you're currently using. If you're all the way to the left, you're probably on vacation. If you're all the way to the right, you're probably dealing with an immediate crisis, or at least your body thinks you are. In this reading, I'm at the second highest level of reserve. Typically, you only see this in people that do a lot of meditation and are very calm. On the x-axis, I'm right in the middle, meaning I'm using exactly half of my reserve. I consider this a near perfect reading. I could be one click higher, at Olympic levels of stress reserves, and perhaps if I do the test after a few more days of Autonomis, I will be. In terms of the x-axis, I want to be in the middle. If you're all the way to the left, and you're not using any of your reserves, you're not pushing yourself hard enough. You can do more. If you're all the way to the right, you're pushing yourself too hard, and you're going to burn out. In the middle and at the top. That's where I want to be, and after a few days of Autonomis, I had a near-perfect reading. Most people won't need fancy scientific equipment to know that Autonomis is working. They'll just feel better. Little things that used to bother them may not bother them anymore, and big stresses won't burn them out.
I had no idea just how much stress I was under and how it was affecting me until I took Autonomis, and it's been very helpful for me. In the quest for improving health and slowing aging, we need to detoxify, get good sleep, exercise, get sunlight, but what is often overlooked and very important is we need to manage our cortisol and stress levels. A calm mind and a peaceful heart are required for optimal health. If you have any questions about whether Autonomous cortisol detox is right for you, contact us at remedylink.com. Take care.